Hey guys, how you doing here? Thanks for watching. Just wanted to make this quick video on why I've decided to jump into the online sales thing. And forgive the camera shaking. I'm driving here. It's Sunday morning. It's Mother's Day. I'm actually going sourcing with my mom, who also loves to do it too. So kind of cool. But anyway, that is some terrible coffee. Ugh, gas station coffee. Anyway, I wanted to just kind of share my story as to why I decided to jump into this thing. Now, today is my third day sourcing. I just started sourcing seriously on Friday. I've been working basically for someone else, corporate America, for the past 20 some years. Always working for somebody else. Never started my own business. I did at one point. I had this little company here a couple years ago, real estate, and a little LLC I created. My wife and I created a long time ago, and we had some rental properties in there, and we're doing that real estate thing. But I just couldn't. The stress of that, like always wondering. There's so much in real estate. I know there's money to be made in properties and stuff like that, but you also got to enjoy what you're doing too. So if like real estate with me, I thought it was going to be, sit back, watch the money roll in. Unfortunately, obviously that didn't happen, but it's so friggin' stressful. At least for me it was, getting the properties, maintaining them, always listening for when people called. Every time my cell phone rang, I would look down and cringe and hope that it didn't say renters on it, because I knew something was wrong. Always wondering if the money was going to be there, rent and all that stuff. It's just I was miserable, stressed out. So I got out of that. I sold all my properties. I sold anything really that had to do with investment, stocks, real estate, all of it. I got out of it. That's a story for another video. But my majors, I have a degree. I have an MBA and a bachelor's and all that, and my specialty is finance and economics. And I just see the writing on the wall, and I feel like every day you can go online, and I'm sorry about this, it keeps falling, this heavy ass phone. I need to try and tighten it up. But you can read headlines of this company lays off 2,000 people, this company lays off 2,000 people, 500, 250. And just last week, the company that I'm working for right now, I'm still in corporate America, still have a full-time job. The company I'm working for last week, they just laid off 250 people, basically no notice. We went in one day, and they're so sketchy with the way they try to hide shit, and they closed down the whole thing. And, I'm in an industry that I just can't do it anymore. I feel bad. I feel like that I'm making society worse off every time I, sell what I'm doing right now. Nothing to do with Amazon or eBay or online. But I feel like with what I'm doing currently, I feel like I'm making society worse by doing it. And it's just, nobody wants to live like that. I mean, I'm sure there's some people who just don't care. The industry that I, am in, I've been in that industry since 2006. Lots of money there. Back then, there was lots of money to be made. I was making almost six figures, basically working from home, 8 hours a day. So I got into a little bit of online stuff a few years ago. I mean, I've sold on Amazon and eBay before, but nothing like FBA or anything. Just some old, junk laying around the house, books, whatever, shirts. My biggest score on eBay was probably a couple years ago. I sold about $6,000 worth of band t-shirts, old vintage band t-shirts, like from the 80s, in the 90s and stuff, when I was in high school. Sorry, I smoke a lot. When I was in high school, I collected band t-shirts, Motley Crue, Poison, Metallica, all those shirts. I was a metalhead and all that, so but I collected it. At one point I had like 250, 300 of these band t-shirts, and they were just sitting in a box. Some of them I still have, because some of them are like, mementos. My wife makes fun of me all the time because I keep stuff like that. But a lot of the stuff that I just bought and, obviously didn't wear anymore, I knew there was a market for it. I went to a thrift store one time, clothing thrift store, like 10 years ago or something, and I was wearing one of them at the time. I was wearing, I think it was a Sam Hain t-shirt, and the guy in the store offered to buy it like right off my back for like $50, and I was like, what the hell? So I went on to eBay and looked it up, and sure enough, there was a big market for vintage t-shirts. So I listed them all on there, and I sold them to probably like 3 people. I got an email. I put like 50 of them on there at once. I got an email from a guy, and he was like, hey, any chance you want to sell these to me in bulk? And I have business training. Like I said, I knew he was probably going to buy them and resell them. I knew he wasn't just collecting 50 t-shirts, but I had just had a baby at the time, I brand new baby boy, so I just didn't have time to do all this stuff. So I was like, yeah, I'll sell them all to you for, I can't even remember the amount, but all said and done, I made about $6,000 off all those shirts. Now, what I used that money for at the time is I was trying to get into stocks, investing, trading futures, stuff like that. And I did that for a while, had a little success, made a little bit of money, but it was just, since I was working from home at my full-time corporate gig, I was able to do that. I had my work computer right there, and then I had a laptop right next to me, and I would be online and, surfing while I was talking to people. And so it was pretty sweet. It was pretty sweet. Then, unfortunately, like I mentioned, I got laid off, big cuts in the industry. So, and like I said, I just, and then I took another job with another company in the same industry, and like these people that I talk to every day, they're like, felons and drug addicts, and it's just like, I hate getting up in the morning. I hate it to go to this job. I love, but everybody wants, the dream. You want to be able to make money and provide for your family and all that stuff. And my wife works part-time. God, this is terrible coffee. My wife works part-time, and to stay at home, part-time stay-at-home mom. And I want her to do that because we decided that a long time ago, that's what we were going to do. I don't like the idea of someone else raising my kid, and I don't mean any disrespect to any of the single moms or any single dads or anything watching out there. You got to do what works for you. I never had so much respect for single parents until I had a kid, and I'm not a single parent. Like, I don't know how you do it, so I give you kudos all the time. I don't know how you can raise a kid on your own, but that's a, I don't want to get off track here, but anyway, basically, kudos to any of the single moms and dads out there. I have no friggin' idea how you do it. So my wife works part-time. We want to be at home. She wants to be at home part-time, which is fine, working out well. And I took a drastic pay cut when I took this other job, same industry, but I was making like $25,000 less than I used to be making, so a big cut. And just recently, I was listening to, during tax season, there was a guy on Facebook. It's just so funny how all these things kind of develop. I don't mean to go off on another tangent there on you, but there's a guy that I know who, he's basically a loser, but a friend of his does Amazon. I never thought about it, I just kind of heard it in talking, but he doesn't do any of it. So I was listening to some stuff on Facebook during tax season, and I watched this video by a dude, he's a self-made man, he's an entrepreneur, sells stuff, and he did a video where he was showing how much money that he was paying in taxes, how much money he had to send to the IRS in taxes. Not to gloat or anything, but he's, he was basically sending the equivalent of like, 3 people's annual paychecks to the IRS. And And I'm like, man, you know, and the guy's like, he's like 24, you know, and I mean, I just, every time I watch videos like that, I'm like, man, I'm so pissed at myself because I'm not 24 and I feel like I missed the boat. You know, there's so many opportunities I could have had and I passed up. And, you know, just for the security of corporate America, I had what's called the golden handcuffs. I had a sweet gig. Like I said, I worked from home for like 7 years, made almost 6 figures doing a stupidly, ridiculously easy job. I mean, it was ridiculously easy. Anyway, so I heard this video, you know, and then I didn't really think much of it. Well, about two or 3 weeks later, just a couple weeks ago, I was listening to a podcast about some political stuff, and this guy who made this video was on there as a guest. So I was like, wow, that's interesting, you know. So I'm listening to his thing, and his name intrigued me. You know, I was like, I know that name. When I was listening, I was like, why do I know that name? So then he started talking about the tax video, and I was like, oh yeah, it's that guy. So, you know, long story short, he basically told his story and, you know, said, oh, I got some websites I'm building and I own this domain and all that. So I Googled the website. It's not running yet. He said it wasn't running yet. So I Googled the website, and when I Googled his name came up in, you know, YouTube. You know how sometimes you do Google searches and then YouTube comes up and says, oh, you know, I have a video. So of course his tax video was there, but another video of his was there, and it was an Amazon FBA video. And you know what? Hang on a second. I'm gonna turn into this school here just so I can. So I'm almost at my mom's house. So, and I have a few more things I want to say. So let me park at this school here for a sec, and then go from there. So anyway, oh damn, of course the sun's gonna be, well, I'll just park like this. Okay. So he talked about his Amazon business. I'll roll down the window here, all this smoke. So he talked about his Amazon business, and so I watched the video and I'm like, wow, you know, that seems pretty interesting. So I started doing a little bit more research, and you know, he talked about his steps. So I did some more research on his steps and what he was saying. God, sorry about my face. This cough is just terrible. And so I did some research, started watching more videos, reading a lot. And one thing I learned when I first started doing the industry that I'm in now, back in 2006, is that, you know, the 80-20 rule. You know, 20% of the employees have 80% of the sales, you know, steps and how to make yourself successful, how to become the top in your game and all that. And yeah, I mean, like, I basically doubled my salary in a year by following the steps, you know, from a lot of successful people, you know, like the Tony Robbins type of people, self-improvement. I read a lot of those books, listened to a lot of the audio books, and a lot of the stuff worked, you know. I started using it in my corporate gig, and it worked really well. Like I said, I doubled my salary in about exactly a year, because I had 2 review periods, and you know, by the time the second review period came around, 6 months, you know, 6 months and then 6 months. So a year later, when I got my second raise, I doubled my salary. So I know that stuff worked. So after watching a lot of the videos on Amazon or on YouTube and all these other places about selling online and all that, I was like, you know what? I already do a lot of the stuff that people sell and all that, like a lot of the places people visit, I already go there anyway. I was talking to my wife about this, and I'm like, you know, for the retail arbitrage side of it, half of the places that people buy their products, I already go there. I'm already there anyway, like almost every week and every weekend. So I'm like, hell, if I'm already there, why not try to make some money? See if this thing works. Because like I said, I really want to start my own business. I know I can do it. You know, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. But you know, nothing happens overnight, and I know that from past things that I've done. So anyway, man, I got to get out of the sun here. I'm in Arizona right now, and it is only like 8:30 in the morning, but let me tell you something. When that sun is out and there's no clouds in the sky, that stuff is brutal. That sun is brutal. So I'm going to just pull over here. My legs are in the sun. That's much better. Okay, so I know this stuff works. Yes, I'm a chain smoker, but especially when I'm talking, I smoke a lot. So I know this stuff works, so I've done it. So I've done a lot of research, and I talked to my wife about it, of course, because when you're married, you know you don't just do stuff without talking to your wife. So I talked to her. She's fully on board with it, like loves the idea, thinks it's an awesome idea. So I got the green light from her. And so basically I'd done all this research, got stuff, ordered supplies, and, you know, went into it. On Friday was my first day of doing it. First day of sourcing and doing all that stuff. And since I work full time, you know, I get off at 3, and I know that, you know, you gotta, all my free time is dedicated to this, but I still go to the gym. I still have to do other things, you know, I still have to play with my son and, you know, be a husband and all that stuff. So basically what I'm doing now is I'm trying to use the weekends, like around the nighttime. Of course, Sunday, Mother's Day, my mom and I, and usually my son, we go out on Sundays anyway. But since it's Mother's Day and all that, I'm hanging out with my mom, so it's just her and I. So I did some on Friday. I did some yesterday. So my plan is to do it, you know, maybe when my son goes to bed. I'm going to have to do it at nighttime, which is fine. And then probably one day during the week to start at nighttime. And I'm thinking probably like Tuesday. So Friday I got some stuff. Saturday I got some stuff. Today I'm hoping to find some stuff, but I haven't sent anything to Amazon yet. I'm still building up my first box. And you know, when when your wife works part-time, you have a you know, 1 kid, 2 kids, however many kids, you know, and like I said, I'm pulling in like $25,000 less than I used to. I don't have the capital right now to go out and spend like $5,000 every weekend to send to Amazon. I'm starting small. You know, success doesn't happen overnight. There's no quantum leaps here unless you get lucky, you know, and you happen to go to like some, you know, garage sale. Like I wish I still had those shirts, because if I was doing this now, then that would be all the startup capital. It would be great. So I'm doing it slow, but I'm really excited about it. You know, I'm really excited about it. I sat down last night, you know, and built some spreadsheets and stuff, you know, putting in some costs to kind of see where we're at. I have some apps, you know, on the phone, doing the scanning and all that stuff. But so I'm just really excited about it, you know, and there's so much information online. Some of it can be a little discouraging, some of it can be exciting. You know, you want to do like retail arbitrage, you know, you're excited, and there's nothing worse, you know, for your mood than when you're like watching YouTube on a video of like, you know, let's just say, you know, of the video says like how I made, you know, $20,000 in a month or something like that. So you're watching that, of course, because you're curious. You know, most of those videos, you know, don't put too much stock in them. Listen to the process, but, you know, maybe not focus so much on the results, because, you know, people are always trying to sell stuff. There's nothing worse than watching a video like that. You get excited, and you know how on YouTube, under the video you're watching, it has like a list of all the other ones related to it. And there's nothing worse than watching that video, and then right after that one's done, the next one under it says, why Amazon FBA and retail arbitrage is dead. And you're like, oh man, you know, so don't get too discouraged again. But I'm really excited about it. I mean, I'm super stoked. I actually already have an idea for a private label product. I've already been doing some research on that for the past 2 weeks. Looks pretty good. Breaking some of the rules that I've heard people talk about, you know, like try to sell it for $10 or try to make a $10 profit on each one. Again, the reason the product that I chose is because it's ridiculously cheap to make, ridiculously cheap to ship. It weighs like, I got a sample of some of this product on Friday, and the box weighed 4 ounces. So I mean, and I found a United States supplier. I looked at China and, you know, Alibaba and stuff like that, but the cost to produce it is about the same, maybe plus or minus a penny, maybe. But, and I know pennies add up, absolutely, but shipping will eat crazy into that. I mean, if I'm ordering 100,000 units of this thing at a time, you know, I got to pay for air shipping. If I'm saving a penny by ordering it from China, to me, it's just not worth it. I can get it here. You know, it's local. It's in the United States. It's not in my state, but it's a lot closer than China. There's no friggin' boats. There's no, you know, giant boats it has to go on. Communication barriers hopefully going to be a lot easier. So, look at that. Cigarette went out because I didn't smoke it. So, communication barrier should be better. So that's kind of where I'm at, guys. You know, I'm really excited about launching this thing. It's, you know, everybody gets excited in a new business, but, you know, people talk about, you know, motivation. I'm motivated. And sure, I am motivated to do it. Absolutely, 100%. But motivation isn't what gets you to be successful. Motivation gets you started. Discipline is what makes you successful, is what keeps you going. Just like a race, you know, you start off in a race, you run fast, you're motivated, you're super excited. Well, you can't sprint the whole race. It just doesn't work. So you have to develop a system to keep yourself disciplined, to pace yourself. You know, write your goals out. I mean, I'm sure you've heard it a million times. This stuff works, guys. I'm telling you. You know, one of the, you plant those seeds in the back of your mind, and the stuff works. You know, like one of the self-help guys, I can't remember his name, but, you know, he talks about an idea is like a seed. You know, you don't necessarily focus on it every day. He said, like let's say you have a goal to make $100,000 a year. You know, he said what you do is you get a piece of paper or whatever it is. You write your goals, whatever your goals are, on that piece of paper. You put it in an envelope, you seal it, and you put it away. And you don't look at it again until your deadline. Like, you know, it's May right now. So, you know, by December 31st, I want to be, I will be selling, just say, $5,000 a month on, you know, online between Amazon, eBay, whatever it is. You write that down, you put it in an envelope, you stick it in a drawer, and you put on there, do not open until, you know, January 1st next year. And he said, you know, he said the power of that, he said a lot of times the problem is people look at that every day. Like, you have it posted on your wall, you have it put in the bathroom, you know, and that's okay for certain things, but a goal like that, he said, you got to think of it as a seed. He said, you know, think about planting a tomato seed in the ground. You get out there, you dig it up, you plant it, you put dirt over it, you water it, and you walk away. And you just you do things every day to make sure that seed grows, but you don't dig up the seed every day to make sure that it's growing. Obviously, that wouldn't work. You take steps to the steps that you think you're going to need to do to make sure the seed grows, like plenty of sun, water, that kind of stuff, but you don't dig up the seed every day and say, is it growing? Because obviously it's never going to grow. And that stuff works, guys. I did that, like I said, when I first started in the industry, when I doubled my salary at my corporate job in a year. That's exactly what I did. I followed the steps. On New Year's Day of like 2008, you know, I wrote some goals down. I will be making X amount. I'm gonna do this. I'm this. You know, I put it in an envelope. I stuck it in there, and then sure enough, January 1st, the next year, I opened it and I had accomplished all those goals, every one of them that I set. And it was amazing. And a lot of times I'd forgotten about the goals, like, you know, 3-4 months in the year. The monetary one, of course, I remembered that one, but a lot of the other, you know, goals that I'd written down, I didn't remember. And even though they're, you know, they're planted subconsciously in your mind, your brain knows them. You're just not talking about them all the time. And I read it and I was like, oh my God, I forgot about that one. But I had accomplished it. You know, like I wanted to live in a house, 2-story, like I had written down what I wanted the house to look like. And it looked just like, I mean, yeah, there's a little, like the color wasn't right and stuff, but I said I wanted a 2-bedroom house, 3-car garage. I'm not 2-bedroom, 2-story house, 3-car garage with a pool, you know, in a great neighborhood. And that's exactly what I got. You know, I don't live there anymore. I sold that. And again, if you want to know anything about investing or anything, I can make different videos on that. So that's where I'm at, guys. I just wanted to make this video, you know, just to kind of, you know, help some people, because I know there's probably hundreds of thousands of people just like me and just like you who want to do the same thing, but they're scared to take action. Everything always comes down to action. You know, it's great to have these good ideas. You want to do this, you want to do that. You got to do it. You know, you just got to do it. I'm so upset every time. There's a little part of me that gets upset every time I watch videos like this, talking about how, you know, how to do it, and I'm so mad that I didn't do it a couple years ago. I never really thought about it, but I'm so mad that I know the potential to make money doing what we're doing was greater 5 years ago, 3 years ago. I know that for a fact. I mean, anybody with any business training could look and know that. But, you know, guys, everybody says, how many times have you been listening to, you know, talking to a friend, relative, or, you know, just anybody, and they're like, yeah, you know, someday I'd like to start my own business. You know, someday I'm going to take that trip to California. Someday I'm going to have kids. Someday I'm going to quit my job. The last time I looked on any calendar, I didn't see someday on there. I don't recognize someday as a day of the week. Someday is right now. It's a, you know, obviously it's in your head. Someday is now. If you can't, like, let's say one of your goals is to start a business or take a trip. If you don't have the money right now, today, to take that trip, that doesn't mean you don't do anything. What taking action means doesn't mean if you want to quit your job, you call your boss today and you say, I quit. It means that you need to start laying down the steps necessary for you to quit your job. You know, just like building a house. Goals and everything are just like building a house. You got to do it. I know it's so cliche, one step at a time. So if your dream is to build a 3-story, you know, 2-story house with a basement, you know, just all kinds of game rooms, man cave, whatever it is, obviously you're not going to go out there and build it in one day. You say, okay, what's the first thing I need to do today to take action towards that goal? That's what you need to do. And that's what I finally decided to do. But life and the universe is funny how you get these ideas in your head and then you kind of forget about them, you know, and you don't take action on them, and they just kind of go, they fall into the boneyard where ideas go to die. And then life throws you these little reminders, you know, like, hey, remember you were thinking about this like 6 months ago? You know, and a lot of times people ignore it, or they won't recognize the opportunity when it comes up. Like I said, I'm going to have one more cigarette, and then I'm going to end this video and go to my mom's house. But, you know, like I said, it's just like that video I was watching with the tax guy. You know, I had always wanted to start my own business. Didn't really know what. And I just kind of forgot about it. And then life happens. You go on your day. You go 9-to-5 job, you know, wife, kids, all that stuff. And life throws you these little hints. You know, I was watching that video. The guy's an entrepreneur. I didn't really think anything of it. I moved on with my life. Then again, listening to that podcast, political podcast, had nothing to do with owning a business or anything. Totally off the subject. The guy was just the same guy. And his name popped up again. Life throwing you, the universe throwing you another little hint. Like, hey, remember you thought about this. So just take action, guys. You know, you don't need $1 million. You don't need 50,000, 10,000, 1,000. If all you have is $50, $20, then go out and buy whatever you can for $50. Pack it up, even if it's a small box, send it in. You got to get that first sale. I don't have any sales yet. Like I said, I haven't even sent in a box. I have a couple things on eBay right now that are actually ending today, which one of them is already had some bids on it, so I know that'll sell. So yes, I said I've sold on eBay before. I've sold on Amazon before as an individual, never as a professional or whatever. So I don't count any of those previous things that I've sold on Amazon or eBay or anywhere before as success to what I'm doing now. I made the decision 2 weeks ago. This is what I want to do. I'm super excited about it. So today, the products that I sell on eBay tonight, these are going to count as my first sales towards this, because these are products that I sourced that I'm selling. So these are my first success stories, and I'm super excited. I'm hoping to have everything scanned and packed up tonight and shipped out either tomorrow or Tuesday for Amazon, and get some stuff in there. I don't care when I see my first sale on Amazon. I don't care if it's $5, $1, 50 cents, anything. It's those little steps taken over time that build up to big ones. The small successes. You know, I was talking, I'll just tell you a quick story. One of the people that in my job I talked to, she's like 22 or whatever. She was telling me how she wants to start a business. And I said, oh, cool. What do you sell? She's like, beads. I was okay, beads, bracelets, jewelry. Sure, it's probably an oversaturated market, whatever, no big deal. But I said, okay, well, how much does it cost you to make that? She said, about $2. I said, okay. How much can you sell it for? She's like, well, I've never really sold them online. She's like, I've sold them here and there, but she said, I can get about $5. I said, wow, $5. She's like, yeah, about $5. Nothing big. I'm like, nothing big? I'm like, see, your problem right there is you're not thinking percentage-wise. You're thinking just simply monetary terms. I said, yeah, $2.50 or $3 profit. Yeah, $3. You sell one bracelet, right? $3 isn't going to make you rich. But that's over 100% return on investment. Think about it like that. What person in their right mind wouldn't want to, let's say a retired person or somebody in the stock market, what person wouldn't want an over 100% of return on their investment? That's like, give me $2 and a week from now I'll give you $5. I said, yeah, $3 isn't going to make you millions, but what if you did that 20 times a day, 100 times a day? All of a sudden, $3 starts to add up pretty quickly, doesn't it? And she's like, oh, I never really thought about it like that. I'm like, right, because you're thinking about selling, like, you want to make a product for $2 and sell it for like 100. Those products are few and far between. Those are like your giant corporations, and I'm sure there's some people that have that, but your giant corporations are like Apple, and Samsung, and they get phones made for like $50 and sell them for like 1,000 or whatever. But you can't be an Apple overnight. It takes time. Steve Jobs and Microsoft and all those guys, they didn't just like wake up one morning and go, hey, here's this product and make millions. Like, it took a long time. But people don't think that way. They only think, what's the fastest, easiest way I can make money and get rich, like in a week? That's why the lottery is so popular. Nobody wants to take the time to do it. Nobody wants to do the math. Now, of course, you have to have a product that's in demand. Like if you're selling, if it costs you 50 cents to sell porcupine popsicles or to make porcupine popsicles, and you could sell them for $10, that's great if people are going to buy them. I don't know, you got to have a demand for something. So, but there's so many things out there. So anyway, guys, thanks for listening to my little rant. I'm off have breakfast with my mom, and then we're going to do some sourcing. So if you found this video helpful, you know, like it, you know, subscribe. My channel is mostly about political stuff, you'll notice. But I'm going to start posting more like motivational videos and stuff. People say I'm good at that. But yeah, what people tell you, right? Friends are always nice to you. So let me, why don't you, the YouTube community, tell me if I'm a piece of garbage and I have no validity and everything I said is stupid. Let me know, because I don't want to waste my time. Time is money, just like you. So have a happy Mother's Day, guys. To all the moms out there, thanks for watching, and we'll check in again soon. Take care.